Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You may be seated if you can find a place to sit down. This is a great time to not have a seat, right? But anyway, thank you very much, and um, very much good evening, Democrats. Before I begin tonight, I do want to say a few words about the horrific events that took place Wednesday evening just up the road here by Reagan National Airport. And on the way over tonight, heard of another plane crash in Philadelphia. Um, and when these things happen, this is not the time at all to pin blame on a certain government agency, on an administrator, or on a gender. It's time to find out what happened and fix the problem. And that's what exactly this administration is going to do. The FAA will fully investigate each of these accidents, and they'll find the cause, and we'll fix it. And I'm not going to come up here tonight, and I'm not going to pin blame on anybody or anything. That's not the place. It's not the time for that. If anything, we should be paying tribute to those lives lost. You think about it. The folks on that airplane, folks in the helicopter, servicemen and women who were um, part of this horrific accident had families. They had families, and didn't come home that night. Some were on a routine training mission. Others were less than 1,000 feet from home. It's a time to pay tribute to them, and it's not a time to lay blame on a gender race, lay blame on an agency, lay blame on an administrator. It's time to find out what happened. But it is wonderful to be here at National Harbor tonight in these times, though, but surrounded by so many champions of progress, fighters for justice, and believers in the promise of America. I want to thank Jamie Harrison and the entire DNC team for the tireless dedication to your cause. Your leadership, strategy, and vision are the foundation of our success as a party. I also want to recognize the state and local leaders in this room who will work tirelessly to serve their communities and strengthen our party from the ground up, from the school board meetings to state legislatures to the halls of Congress. You've shown that progress begins in every corner of our country. And to the organizers, volunteers, and supporters who give their time, energy, and hearts to this party, you're the backbone of our movement. And it really is. It starts at City Hall. It starts at the school board. It starts at that level. That's where you get involved. That's where, as President Nixon said, you get into the arena. That's where you can make a difference. Tonight, we gather not just as Democrats, but as a coalition of hope, a movement that is dedicated to creating a better future for every single American. As we look ahead, we must remind ourselves why we fight and who we fight for, and we should never forget that. We've come so far in the last few years. Together, we have delivered historic investments in infrastructure, creating millions of good paying jobs. We passed groundbreaking climate legislation that puts America on a path toward a cleaner, greener future. We've capped prescription drug costs for seniors and stood up to big pharma to lower healthcare costs for families across the nation. And the question I have for you here tonight is why? Why a president of the United States would sign an executive order that essentially stabs our seniors in the back. We must not have that happen. I would never have that happen as president. And I don't see why a president of any party, would do that to a citizen of their country. We've also worked to restore and strengthen the very foundation of our democracy. We protected uh, we protected the sacred right to vote, defended reproductive freedoms, and appointed judges who uphold the Constitution, not political agendas. And we went through this during the cycle. I told you many times that deep down in my heart, it is wrong for abortion. But I'm also for a woman's right to choose. The government should not be in the way of a woman's right to choose. The government should not be in the doctor's office. They should be in the halls of Congress doing what they're paid to do, doing what they're elected to do. And through it all, we've shown the American people that leadership rooted in common decency and justice looks like, what it looks like. And that's the goal of the next 4 years. We're going through an extraordinary time in our nation's history. And it's my goal to show you what a presidency should look like. Some of the things that have happened in the last 9 days are totally ludicrous. Like I said, why would a president sign an executive order raising the prescription cost for anybody to where they're paying $300 or $400 for a prescription? You guys have all heard the story, and it's a true story, of a teacher friend of mine back in Texas. And it wasn't a choice. She had to pay $600 for a prescription. Why is that fair? Teachers are not multimillionaires. That's one thing we're working on as well is teacher pay. Teachers don't make the $1.2 million a year that the CEOs make and the upper income earners make in this country. They are on the front lines, and they are grooming, and they are shaping our future, and they deserve a livable wage. But why is it fair that you pay these hundreds of dollars? And it just really gets me. And this commercial has not it's come and gone a few times. I won't tell you what it is, but you'll probably know just by me telling the story. But there's ad, and this older gentleman comes on and talks about what the cost of this prescription is through a drugstore, and how you could get the prescription through his company for $40 for a prescription you don't really need. For a prescription you really don't need. But why don't we make it? Why don't we make it where every single person in this country pays an affordable rate for a prescription, not worried about getting sick and ending up on the streets? That's not right. But as proud as we are about what we've accomplished, let's not lose sight of the fact that the challenges we face are as great as ever. Across the country, there are forces working to roll back our progress, and that's happened a lot in the last week, and undermine the values we hold dear. There are those who rather sow division or show division and tear and fear than build bridges of understanding. I'm a firm believer in building bridges. I'm a firm believer in bipartisanship. I do not believe in tearing bridges down. I do not believe in destroying things. I believe in building things. There are those who rather strip away rights than expand them. And I just don't see how that's an American way. We see it every day. Efforts to restrict voting rights, limit what children can learn in schools, and attack the fundamental freedoms of women immigrants in the LGBTQ community. These are not isolated incidents. They are part of a coordinated assault on progress. But let me tell you something. We faced these forces before, and we defeated them before, and we will do it again. Now, when it comes to schools, my Back to Basics program, that my education program is very plain on that. We are going to teach our children the ABCs, the one, two, threes, the good, the bad, the ugly of history. And yes, I do believe that faith has a place in our schools. You may not agree with me, but faith, I believe, has a place in our schools. Because here's the truth, folks. When Democrats fight, Democrats win. You know, we won in 2020 because we stood united for the soul of this nation. And we won in 2022 and 2024 because we never wavered in our commitment to justice, opportunity, and democracy. As we look ahead to the midterms in 2026 and the next presidential election in 2028 and beyond, we know that our mission is bigger than any one election. It's about building a future where everyone, no matter who they are or where they come from, can achieve their dreams. And I'm a firm believer in that. And when it comes down to education, I told the students today that when I was visiting a school, that they're capable of anything if they put their mind to it, and they have their proper education. And our schools across this country, there could be doctors, congressmen, scientists, astronauts, engineers, but we've got to get them ready, and we got to provide them the right foundation for them to grow. And to do all of that, we need every single one of you. This is not just a call to action. It's a call to recommitment. We need you knocking on doors, registering voters, and telling our story. We need you standing up for the values that define us as Democrats: fairness, equality, and opportunity for all. And what is our story? It's really the story of everyday Americans. The single mom who works two jobs to give her children a better life. The dreamer who believes in the promise of America. The factory worker who fought for union rights and fair wages. And the veteran who served our nation and wants nothing more than to come home to a country that values their sacrifice. I remember growing up in Dallas, in Oak Cliff. My uncle was a member of the U.S. Air Force, and he served a tour in Vietnam. I remember him coming home from his tour of duty at the airport, Love Field in Dallas, that I fly into now. But Love Field in Dallas, and being spit upon his return from military service. But I'll tell you this, just a few weeks ago, I was at Reagan Airport, and I was proud to see an honor flight come in, and proud to see many passengers in that terminal lined up, honoring the brave men who come off that aircraft. Sometimes it's their first and maybe only trip to DC. But it shows you how far we've come, but how far we still have to go. You know, our story is one of resilience, determination, and hope. It's a story of a party that has always fought for the people, not the powerful, not the privileged, but the people, in its story that we must tell, because it's our story that will inspire others to join us and to vote for us. Friends, the road ahead will not be easy. There will be challenges and there will be setbacks. But there's one thing I know about this party is that we never back down from a fight. We know what's at stake. We know that what we stand for. We stand for better wages, affordable housing. We stand for health care as a right, not a privilege. We stand for justice and equality and for opportunity. We stand for the belief that America is strongest when we lift each other up, not tear each other down or to pieces. And we know that progress takes work, it takes grit, and it takes vision. So let's get to work Let's fight for the America we know is possible. Let's fight for the families who are counting on us, for the young people who dream of a brighter future, for the workers who deserve dignity and respect, and for the communities who have long been forgotten but will never be overlooked again. Because when Democrats fight, we deliver, and when we deliver, America wins. Thank you, Democrats, for all that you do. Let's roll up our sleeves and keep building a better, fairer, and brighter future for all. May God bless you. May God bless the United States of America, and may He protect our troops. Thank you all very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.